On our rooftop position here overlooking Iran's capital, Tehran, we have been able to hear a couple of very loud thuds that could be explosions, and then also some smaller ones in pretty close succession that might have been anti-aircraft fire. Now, that's not confirmed. It's not exactly clear what that is. However, we do know that the Israelis say that they have been striking targets, as they put it, in Iran's capital, Tehran, but also in other Iranian cities like, for instance, Isfahan and Tabriz. That's also confirmed by the Iranians, and the Iranians also say, and the Israelis also confirm that Israel has hit a petrochemical facility in the south of Iran. It's very close to the Iraqi border, very close to the city of Basra. The Iranians are saying that the staff of that petrochemical facility has been ordered to evacuate that facility. And the Iranians are also saying that they are hitting back in a major way. They say in retaliation for the attack on that petrochemical facility that they launched ballistic missiles towards a similar facility, they put it, in the Israeli city of Haifa. The Iranians also earlier saying that there had been a wave of Iranian ballistic missile attacks targeting two Israeli air bases and specifically radar installations affiliated with those air bases. The Iranians are saying right now their missile forces and generally their forces are in a state of complete readiness, and they are also warning the Israelis to stop their military action. Of course, all of this coming as the ceasefire between the U.S. and Iran continues to very much hang in the balance. Iran and the U.S. saying that they are trying to work towards a memorandum of understanding to end the conflict between Iran and the United States, but also to then move towards broader peace talks aimed at achieving a larger peace agreement. The Iranians are saying those talks are in a difficult state. They want some of their frozen assets to be unfrozen immediately. And both sides are acknowledging, of course, right now that especially with these attacks going on, it certainly seems as though that ceasefire and the general situation right now, very volatile. Fred Pleitgen, CNN, Tehran.
Both Israel and Iran have now agreed, it seems, to halt military operations against one another. But that doesn't necessarily mean that we're headed for a quiet period in the Middle East. And that's because Iran, in the same breath that it said that it would halt its military operations against Israel after firing multiple barrages of ballistic missiles overnight, also said that should Israel continue its attacks not only on Iran, but also on southern Lebanon, then Iran would consider that to be a violation and would then strike Israel even more ferociously, it said, than it has over the last 24 hours. And so the Israeli government is not going to accept that kind of equation. In fact, that's explicitly the message that the Israeli Prime Minister's office delivered this morning to government ministers, making clear that Israel intends to continue its operations in southern Lebanon. In fact, in the hour after that statement from Iran's military, Israel did indeed conduct airstrikes in southern Lebanon, continuing to go after Iran's proxy in Lebanon, the Lebanese militant group Hezbollah. And so it seems like we're at a situation where both sides are taking a pause here and suggesting that they're no longer going to carry out strikes against one another. But so long as Israel continues to carry out strikes in Lebanon, which it certainly intends to do, it seems like Iran is threatening to once again resume its ballistic missile fire on Israel. When that could happen still is an open question, but it does seem like we are not out of the woods yet in terms of this new flare-up of violence that we have seen between these two countries. President Trump, for his part, has repeatedly indicated that he wants to see these negotiations with Iran play out, and this renewal of conflict between Israel and Iran is certainly not going to help facilitate that negotiation effort that he is undertaking. So this continues to be a very tense and uncertain situation in this region, with Israeli military officials telling us that they are preparing for at least several more days of conflict with Iran and potentially even a prolonged conflict, depending on how things go.
The Ebola outbreak is growing in Africa. Over the weekend, the number of confirmed cases passed 500, almost all in the Democratic Republic of Congo, where strict new protocols are in effect to help stop the spread. Large gatherings are now restricted, including religious services.
Confirmation, baptism, and ordination, among others, are suspended until further notice.
Neighboring countries are now ramping up security and surveillance at the borders, with ambulances, isolation centers, and mobile labs on standby to test for new infections.
In an event we got any case suspected of Ebola or confirmed case, we can be able to deal with it.
But containment won't be easy, and some hospitals are reporting patients are escaping during their treatment, possibly infecting others in their communities.
There are still pockets of resistance from the population, people who are hesitant to come directly to the hospital due to the disease.
Africa's CDC and the World Health Organization announced a joint continental response plan, asking for $518 million, but that number could go up.
Containing Ebola depends on political commitment, sustained financing, and the trust and engagement of communities.
Meanwhile, some health experts are criticizing the Trump administration's response to the outbreak, saying the U.S. should be more involved.
By focusing only on how to keep Ebola out of the U.S., rather than stopping transmission at its source, we are making America more vulnerable.
The CDC says this outbreak could become one of the largest ever documented. In London, Greg Palcott, Fox News.
In total, here in the New York City area, there will be a total of 8 World Cup games to include the final. And so we will be staffing the Joint Operations Center here and monitoring the activities at the fan zones, as well as providing resources to our FBI Newark office to make sure that this games take place in a safe manner. Planning for this started 2 years ago. So we have been constantly coordinating with our FBI Newark office, along with state, local partners to do the planning. And so there's a lot of good coordination going on. Yeah, so the Joint Operations Center will be up on the game days, and what it'll look like here is it'll be full, and it will be, representation will be from our office, from all the different components within our office, to include our counterterrorism division, the critical incident response function, which is within my division, along with state and local partners. One of the main areas of focus for the games is going to be around our counter-UAS, counter-drone mission. So we'll be getting live feeds for, and monitoring any drone activity in the area to see if there's anything that we need to do there from a threat perspective. The 8 days that there are matches going on, there's a lockout period over at Penn Station. So whatever the time of the game is, 4 hours prior, Penn Station will be locked out. So no one will be allowed entry into Penn Station unless they're going to the game. So travel will definitely be affected as a result of the games here in New York City.
Transient schedule changes mean for World Cup schedule changes are in there.
We're less than 2 weeks away from welcoming the world to Atlanta. The last time we've seen an event to this magnitude might have been the 1996 Summer Olympics that took place almost 30 years ago. This is truly a great economic and social impact for the community. We're expecting visitors to come in and really spin with us, right? They'll go to the stadium, they'll come here at FanFest, they'll come and visit our restaurants, and so there's really an opportunity to have an economic impact.
Well, we're really excited about the World Cup because we're going to have 300,000 people in Atlanta right at our doorstep here at Georgia Aquarium. We have the scarves, we have some of these cool little shirts with penguins, Team Ocean. So this is an important business opportunity for us because we know that a lot of people are going to be visiting, and they're going to be visiting for the first time. And those are the people who spend money. Those are the people who want to do all of the things that we have to offer, all the programs. And so, so it's really exciting to welcome a lot of first-time visitors.
So with World Cup, we're planning to see at least a 20% increase. That's being conservative, so we hope that it's higher. but that's what we're planning and hiring for. A lot of research had to go into like, how much will this impact us? How much can we take a risk? Because we don't have any guarantees. We know you hear all the things in the news, things are up and down. We don't know how many people will actually come. But what we do know is that our community and the city is really excited. So we are just really looking forward to feeding more people.
Get away, get away.
The drills are heating up on the field for the players of the LA Force, and soon the temperatures will too as the team kicks off the season. A new analysis by the World Weather Attribution Organization predicts some FIFA World Cup games to be held in the southern and inland parts of the U.S. and Mexico could experience extreme heat and high humidity due to climate change. And while these players won't be in those matches, as athletes, they understand what it takes to stay safe in those conditions.
I mean, the main message is staying hydrated, I would say.
You have to at least hydrate 48 hours and consistently throughout the week just so you're in shape.
Failing to do so can quickly put a strain on the body.
When it's hot, I mean, dry mouth, exhaustion. A lot of it has to do with decision making as well, right? When you're tired, your decision making goes out the window.
The team's coach, Deckel Kanan, is a veteran professional soccer player who knows prepping and competing safely doesn't start on game day.
It's much more than those 90 minutes that people see on the TV. Ideally, a lot of rest, a lot of food, good nutrition, a lot of hydration, ice baths, saunas, a lot of massages, a lot of things behind the scenes that nobody sees.
And for those cheering on the athletes,
it gets pretty warm in the bleachers as well. So I would also say, like, bring your own water, a hat if you need it.
I'm Maribel Gonzalez reporting.
Let's go! You're doing great. You got 5 seconds. 4, 3, 2, 1. Ladies and gentlemen.
There are more than 40 locations around the globe that are participating in this world record attempt. The rules are that you have to juggle a number 5 soccer ball for at least 10 seconds with your feet without it touching the ground. We are very confident that with all of the locations around the globe that we will be able to beat that and that Smyrna, Georgia is going to be a part of history.
So the secret to juggling a soccer ball is first you got to make sure that you practice frequently, because if you practice only once every 2 weeks, you're not going to get anywhere. You want to practice at least 15 to 20 minutes a day. It's awesome, right? And we're going to have the World Cup here in the U.S. The last time the World Cup was here was in 1994 when I was a child, but now it's here when I'm an adult, so it's extra exciting, right? And I'm really excited to do this world record event and be part of it. It's just super exciting.
Well, I think together we can break a record as a country, and I think that's a special thing, especially right now that we are with the World Cup movement, and we're running for the U.S., so we are hoping that we go really to the finals.
It's no secret the cost of living has gone up. It's also gone up for man's best friend.
Larger dogs, for example, are more expensive than a smaller dog. Dogs in general are more expensive than having cats.
New data from Rover finds pet-related costs are expected to increase by 15% this year. Experts say rising veterinary fees and tariff-inflated prices on pet food and gear are partly to blame.
We have lots of communities that don't have easy access to veterinary care either. So these are all things that have increased the impact on the bottom line price.
To cut costs, some pet parents are making tough trade-offs, cutting back on dining out, reducing unnecessary shopping, and delaying large purchases like new cars. About 1/4 have even delayed personal financial goals.
I think for a lot of people, it's become a difficult balance because these are also such important relationships.
But despite the rising costs, more than half of pet parents consider these expenses as a, quote, essential or non-negotiable part of their budget, with nearly 9 out of 10 saying out of everything they spend money on, pets bring them the most joy. So how can pet parents save? Experts say preventative care can help minimize veterinary bills over time. Pet care credit cards and insurance options can help with unexpected bills. Rewards programs, buying in bulk, and researching low-cost veterinary services and food pantries are some other cost-saving options. Gernal Scott, Fox News.
Campbell's had lower sales in its latest quarter, driven in part by further declines in its snacks business. Snacks net sales fell 4%. Shoppers cut back on salty snacks, crackers, and fresh bakery business. Meals and beverages net sales fell 4%, including a decline in soup sales in the United States. Higher fuel costs are expected to hurt airline stocks. The International Air Transport Association is warning global airlines can expect to see profits plunge by half this year because of the fuel price squeeze. SpaceX is set to officially go public this week in what's expected to be an historic IPO. Elon Musk's groundbreaking space company is targeting an initial price of $135 per share, the largest ever IPO valuation in history. The move is expected to be enough to push Musk's net worth over the edge and make him the world's first trillionaire. And apparently, it pays to voice your frustrations and complain. Costco quietly lowering prices on several of its popular Kirkland signature items, including many products shoppers had previously flagged online as becoming increasingly expensive. CJ Papa, Fox News.
It's the downside of summer. Sun exposure, sweatiness, and clogged pores.
We tend to be hotter, a little sweatier, and doing activities that cause friction.
Dr. Spencer Dunaway with The Ohio State University Wexner Medical Center says those factors combined can cause skin conditions to flare. The first common summer skin problem he sees is acne. Dunaway says it's important to wash sweat off before it dries and to change up your moisturizer for the summer.
Switching your nighttime cream to something a little less thick will be less likely to cause you to have an acne flare, but still provide enough moisture to protect the skin.
Next, dry, irritated skin. Dunaway says people tend to over-exfoliate. Using a light moisturizer can also help this problem. Third, folliculitis, or inflammation of hair follicles, which can lead to a rash. Avoid it by wearing looser clothing and washing off sweat from skin. Fourth, melasma, which causes dark, discolored facial patches. Sun exposure, pregnancy, and taking birth control pills can raise one's risk of this condition.
Protecting yourself with strong SPFs, even higher than what we'd normally recommend, such as SPF 50, is really useful for people that are on birth control pills or might be pregnant during the summer.
Finally, heat rash. Dunaway says it's the body's alarm system that a person's overheating.
So if you start to notice these prickly, itchy red bumps on the skin, especially on a really hot day, that's an important sign to cool yourself off. Seek shade or either get in some water.
For Health Minute, I'm Mandy Gaither.
Taylor Swift's Toy Story 5 song, I Knew It, I Knew You, is breaking records. The tune is Spotify's most streamed country song in a single day by a female artist ever. On Apple Music, it's already the biggest country single of the year. Toy Story 5 opens in theaters June 19th.
It occurs to you that you must have been very, very good in a previous life or something.
Bill Nye has joined the John Wick universe. According to The Hollywood Reporter, the actor has been cast in the John Wick spin-off Kane. Donnie Yen, who played the blind assassin by that name in John Wick 4, is directing and starring in the film, which is now in production in Hong Kong and Budapest. A major milestone for the Super Mario Galaxy movie. The animated hit is the first film released this year to top $1 billion in worldwide grosses. That's almost 10 times its reported budget of $110 million. In Hollywood, I'm David Daniel.
We've known each other for over 30 years. How old do you think we are? I don't know, like 60? They have no idea how cool we are.
Nicola Walker and Jermaine Clement are Alice and Steve, devoted and codependent friends, until he connects with her adult daughter.
Can't believe you're single. I hadn't noticed it before, but you are weirdly hot.
Not sure.
about the use of the word weirdly.
Maybe you have a weird smell? I slept with Steve.
That's really funny.
I know this must hurt, Mum. I see that. But I want to keep seeing him.
I really like that kind of uncomfortable humour. I'm afraid that is that really is my sweet spot. I like it when you sort of can't look at the screen.
I know you're angry, and you have every right to be.
I'm kind of dreading that I'm going to have to spend every Christmas with you until I die.
Everything okay?
Yeah, great. Just planning Christmas.
It's so Moorish. It's like crisps that you just can't stop eating.
Yes, yeah.
I just thought it was delicious.
Which one of these says, sorry I had sex with your daughter?
Sometimes I hate Steve. Sometimes I want Steve to be destroyed.
Yeah.
And sometimes I go, poor Steve. Go on, Steve, fight back.
Hi, Al.
I hope you fall out of your window and get pierced in the heart by your railing, and that no one comes to your funeral.
But it's like watching a car crashing in slow motion, actually. You know, you can't tear your eyes off it.
In Hollywood, I'm David Daniel.
You didn't think about my feet.
Take a look at what experts are saying may be the first video-documented encounter of a great white shark in the Mediterranean Sea. The surprise encounter was captured by a diving team in the Strait of Sicily during a mission to remove so-called ghost nets trapping marine life in an offshore shipwreck. Great white sharks are native to the Mediterranean, but their survival has been critically endangered due to human activities such as overfishing. That's according to the Healthy Seas Foundation, which organized the effort to champion net removal and greater biodiversity monitoring on the shipwrecks. They say rare surface sightings of great whites have occasionally occurred in the region, but claim underwater encounters filmed by divers like this one have never before been documented. A shocking surface-level encounter was caught on camera in Hawaii as seaside restaurant patrons marveled at huge waves surging against a street in Kailua Kona, soaking cars and pedestrians. Although they were likely larger, the official observed wave sizes ranged from 4 to 6 feet, and the swell reportedly stemmed from a strong weather system just south of New Zealand. Finally, speaking of waves, watch thousands of World Cup fans in Mexico City attempt to set a human wave world record. With the World Cup soon set to kick off, organizers gathered thousands along one of the city's main avenues, and after a couple of practice runs, officials say the record for the biggest wave in the world outside a stadium was successfully set. An official nod from Guinness World Records is still pending, but a confirmation would be quite the coup for the city, which is widely considered the birthplace of the fan-favorite arena activity. For Take a Look at This, I'm Jeremy Roth.
They may be proving that age is just a number. Dozens of seniors are putting their strength, endurance, and determination to the test in a fitness competition designed specifically for older adults. But they're lifting much heavier than this.
I just read something, strong is the new pretty.
At first glance, it looks like any other tournament weekend.
75 is the most I've lifted lately. I used to lift 125, but I'm 82.
But these athletes are bringing decades of experience to the game.
Well, until I can't lift anymore, I guess. I mean, I want to keep going.
Faith O'Reilly spent her Sunday trying to qualify for a national powerlifting competition. She says staying active lifts her spirits and she's not alone.
It keeps you strong. You know, it's easier to pick up your grandkids or your great-grandkids when you're stronger.
I decided for my 80th birthday I would take up powerlifting.
Donna Guthrie says through each decade of her life, she sets a new goal.
When I turned 50, I walked 5 miles in each of the 50 states. When I turned 60, I did the triathlon. When I was 70, I topped that off by hiking all of the national parks with my husband. All 60. So this was 80.
And they sure aren't whiffing it. Yes! Now, it's time to ball. Derek Williams calling it a slam dunk weekend for the second annual Colorado Senior Games.
I play with guys who are in their 60s and 70s back in Santa Fe, and it lets me know that I can play this game until I die.
Now, if you thought that was a curveball, watch this one.
I love everything about softball.
And at the ripe age of 92, Barbara Johnson turned up the heat as she guarded second base.
We played, 2, 3? Okay. Oh, no wonder I'm tired.
Whether they took home gold or not, everyone who played won.
It is the most important thing that an old person can do is just stay active.
Well, you heard it here first. There's no age limit when it comes to having fun, getting out there, and staying in shape. Reporting in Colorado Springs, I'm Carolyn Felling, Fox 21 News.
An Arizona business that wrote its own story. Inside this Tempe building, 30,000 handwritten letters are mailed a day. The hand writing them is a robot.
We actually use robots that hold real pens to write out the notes. In this day and age of AI, where everything is laser printed or just emailed to you or texted to you, an old-fashioned handwritten note really stands out, and that's what we do at scale.
Each robot designed and built right here at Handwritten. As the company's grown, they've found handwritten notes leave an impact, like with the American Cancer Society of Arizona.
When you're getting a stack of mail, what are you most likely to open? Something that has personal handwriting or something that just has your name stamped on?
They're all volunteers at the Cancer Society, so handwriting all the mail they need to deliver is nearly impossible.
Something that's meaningful and making people feel valued.
But it's not just notes for donations or sales pitches for companies. Sometimes it's a way to stay in touch in a new world. David Wax says they've seen parents use their product to send letters to their kids at summer camp.
I know that I'm supposed to send my kids letters, but in this day and age, it's hard to get around to it. So now they can just go to the website and do this, or they can download our app and do it.
The world's changing, and writing by hand is becoming something of a lost art.
We no longer have photo albums and record collections, that type of thing. People are looking to return to tactile. It's kind of nostalgic. So I'm hoping that handwriting and maybe calligraphy see an upswing.
Steve Nielsen, Fox 10 News.
Fox 54 Plus has your news, sports, and weather. Start your evening with Fox 54 at 5:30, delivering the latest headlines and live reports straight from the scene. Then, stay informed with Fox 54 News at 9, featuring your Tennessee Valley certified most accurate weather impact team, tracking everything from tornado threats to traffic delays during severe weather. Fox 54 Sports Extra brings you more of what sports fans crave, with deeper insights, expert analysis, and all the action that matters most. On Fox 54 Plus, you'll also find Alabama politics, plus 24/7 weather radar and real-time forecasts to keep you ahead of the storm. Looking for a quick recap? Don't miss Fox 54 Week in Review, highlighting the biggest stories of the week. Jumpstart your morning with Morning Rush. Fast-paced news updates, featured with uplifting stories from across the globe. Get your entertainment fix with Getting Real, where we break down movie reviews, top 10 lists, and spotlight the newest film. Die Hard fan? Locked On Sports dives deep into the Crimson Tide, the Tigers, college rivalries, and pro action. True crime warrior style? Killer Cases brings you gripping real-life stories that stick with you. Hungry for more? Cooking with Style serves up mouth-watering recipes that are easy to make and impossible to resist. From movie previews before you head to the theater with Take a Look, to must-know headlines from across the region and around the world with In the News. Watch all of these shows on demand and also on the Fox 54 News app. Available on Android and iOS devices. Streaming 24/7.
There's more to Fox 54 Plus with the Locked On Podcast Network. From the Tide to the Tigers, from college teams to pro. The Locked On Podcast Network gives you insights and analysis you just can't find anywhere else.
These kids, they want to play.
And I don't think so. I think it was Chad Baker-Mazzara.
Locked On Sports, streaming every day of the week and right here on Fox 54 Plus.
This is what he's going to tell you.
Trying to find the first place to put a body.
No, sir. The only thing they could do was kill him.
Be the jury and to find the defendant